Hello, everyone. This is Yuri Prater and this is the Module 7 video discussion assignment for computer ethics, CPSC 4733 for Auburn University. And for this video, my topic of discussion is going to be my topic of discussion is going to be Robinhood. And the question that I'm going to be discussing is, should Robinhood as an organization be held responsible for young, inexperienced investors losing hundreds of thousands of dollars? I think they've been catching a fair amount of criticism ever since the company was founded 5-6 years ago. And I think it warrants an interesting conversation just about these tech companies, the services they provide, and who bears the responsibility when things with regards to these services go wrong. So that's what my video is going to be about. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is Robinhood? A little bit of backstory. The company, the idea behind the company is that it was kind of meant to be a way for young, inexperienced people to participate in commission-free trades and stocks and exchange-traded funds via. It's a mobile application that users are able to sign into and make use out of. It was founded back in April 2013 by Vladimir Tenev and Baju Bhat, both of whom have high-frequency trading platform experience, for financial institutions in New York City. Actually, the name Robinhood is supposed to signify, and I quote, the company's main mission, which is to provide everyone with access to the financial markets, not just the wealthy. So kind of the whole idea behind Robinhood is, we want to give people who don't have a ton of experience, or we want to give people who aren't stockbrokers in New York City, who have, who may have limited experience with like operating a stock portfolio or exchanging stocks and buying stocks, but we just want to make it kind of more readily available for everyone, so you don't have to go through get like a broker's license, or you don't have to have like a financial advisor who's creating this portfolio for you. You can kind of do it at the click of a button, and that's kind of how the app was built and how it was actually kind of built to run. I think one of the most appealing things about the app about Robinhood is that it's a mobile application. So you have a huge number of users that fall between a certain age range. Like I think or at least as of 2020, so like the end of last year, Robinhood had 13 million users. I think the rough age range for those 13 million users is like 80% of them are customers that are part of the millennial generation. So a lot of young 20 to 30 something year olds. I think the average customer age is like 26. And then 50% of the users of that application have made a trade using the app, and 90% of them use the app weekly. So there's a lot of use. The app definitely gets a lot of use. So it's definitely a popular thing. Like for me personally, I have friends that make use of Robinhood. They think I also have friends that make use of Acorn, but Robinhood's typically the one that gets talked about the most. And they've kind of been on this just been this huge dark horse of a company that came out of nowhere. They got founded in 2013. In 2017, they raised over like $110 million and had like a $1.3 billion valuation. In 2018, that following year, they closed $63 million in like a Series D financing round with DST Global. And then also in that same month, in that same year, 2018, they raised a total of $539 million in venture capital funding. And their most recent valuation is, I believe, between 5.6 and $6 billion, which, it's jumped up, like 4 years ago, I think at the time, 5 years ago, it was 1.3 billion. Now it's up to almost 6 billion. So a lot of people are using the application. It's crazy because I don't know that I guess in my mind, you don't think like a fintech company like this would have such an like there'd be such a boom to use it, but it is. I think it just really appeals to young people, the ease of use. I believe the only, and we'll talk about this later also, the ease of use, the fact that you don't need any type of like certifications or anything to really make use of the application. I think really the only requirements for the app are just some general age restrictions. So you have to be 18 years or older. You have to have a valid social security number, not a taxpayer's identification number. It's got to be an actual SSN. Have a legal U.S. residential address within the 50 states or Puerto Rico. But they do make exceptions for active U.S. military personnel who are stationed abroad. And then you need to be a U.S. citizen, a U.S. permanent resident, or have a valid U.S. visa. So those are the only 4 requirements that I was able to find in my research that Robinhood really has in terms of restricting their user base. So now that we have a little bit of background about what Robinhood is and kind of their user base, what they're all about, one of the primary point of this discussion is to talk about the issues with Robinhood. Mainly, the most common criticism about Robinhood is that they allow young, inexperienced people to make these massive trades kind of just like at the click of a button. And it's very seamless because of how the AI on the mobile application looks and works and operates. So it's very easy for people to trade. The downside for that is you've got a lot of inexperienced traders making really risky trades, and maybe they don't fully understand the downside to those trades. If those stocks lose money, if it drops, and also the downside to what could happen if they end up owing massive amount of money. So, in my research, I found what other people in the trading industry were saying about Robinhood. Like you've got Scott Smith, who works at a brokerage firm, or who tracks brokerage firms at a financial consulting firm called Cerulli. He essentially said Robinhood encourages people to go from training wheels to driving motorcycles. Over the long term, it's like trying to beat the casino. Essentially, I think the kind of what his main point is that they're not giving their users the proper education and the proper warning about what it truly means to be partaking in these really, really risky trades. You have the Massachusetts Securities Division filed a lawsuit actually in December 16th of 2020, or not a lawsuit, but they filed an administrative complaint, quote unquote, alleging violations of the Massachusetts state security laws by, and this is a quote just from the complaint, marketing itself to Massachusetts investors without regard for the best interests of its customers, and failing to maintain the infrastructures and procedures necessary to meet the demands of its rapidly growing customer base. And one of the popular phrases that I've been hearing is gamification. Robinhood has gamified their interface. Gamification, when I looked it up, it's kind of a odd term, but the general concept is gamification is the application of game design elements and game principles in non-game contexts. Basically, they turn their mobile application into almost like a video game, but it shouldn't be a video game. Your users should not be treating it like a video game. It's very real. There's pretty serious stakes involved. You're trading actual stock with real money. So that term actually gets thrown around a lot and gets used as an adjective to describe kind of what Robinhood is all about, or how Robinhood, how their UI kind of operates. For me personally, it's interesting because I'm someone who has thought about getting into the trading game and like building a stock portfolio and partaking in little trades here and there. And Robinhood has actually been one of the recommended applications that my friends tell me that I should, take a look into, and potentially think about using. For me, it's interesting because for me, stocks has always seemed like a super serious big thing that I could never do myself. So I would always, if I always thought about if I did get into the stock trade and try to build the portfolio, I would go to a financial investor. I would go to an advisor. I would go to a brokerage firm, someone who knows about this world, this finances world, this Wall Street brokerage world that can make my decisions, well, not make my decisions, but can educate me on what a sound, responsible decision to make would be. And it seems like that's one of the things that Robinhood is trying to kind of circumvent. And it really feels like their whole mission is you don't need a stockbroker to do this for you. You can do it yourself. It's all about getting like the average American involved in this stock trading Wall Street world without needing, like a huge stock portfolio. They don't need a huge brokerage firm backed behind them or backing them. It's as easy as, pulling up their phone and just trading off of the phone. I think there's a little bit of give and take there. The downside to that is you run the risk of having your users, or that's the right term, users, having your users make really big decisions, but not fully understanding of what those decisions fully mean. One of the more well-known but tragic examples is Alex Kearns, who was a user. He was a young kid. He was 20. He started using, just a little bit of backstory. He started using Robinhood and when he was, I believe, a senior in high school. And he's from Nebraska. He ended up dying by suicide because he was under the impression that he owed or lost nearly $750,000 in a risky trade on Robinhood. But it turns out that wasn't that amount, that negative balance that he saw wasn't accurate. And he ended up taking his own life over it. And that was kind of a really sobering thing to read. And it's been getting a lot of media attention because his parents recently filed a lawsuit saying that, this wouldn't have happened if Robinhood had more strict guidelines, more criteria when it comes to what their users are able to trade, what they're able to do. They also didn't provide meaningful customer support in the suit that they filed. So just a little more backstory about what happened. Essentially, he was told, or Alex got an email saying that he owed, had I think like a negative balance of $730,000, and he would have to pay that money back in order to break even on his account. He didn't think that was accurate. He reached out to Robinhood support via email. They didn't get back to him. He reached out again. They didn't get back to him. And I think he reached out a third time. They didn't get back to him. The email that he received said that he needed to take immediate action, and while his balance said that he lost $730,000, the email said that he needed to take immediate action and pay $170,000 in a few days, which I know, like most 20-year-olds, they don't have like $170,000 just on hand ready to pay at the drop of a bucket. So he emailed, didn't hear back. I think he emailed 3 times, didn't hear back. He got an automated message that said, "Thanks for reaching out to your support team. We wanted to let you know that we're working to get back to you as soon as possible, but that our response time to you may be delayed." The company then assigned him a case number. Unfortunately, nobody ever got back to him, and he ended up taking his own life in June of 2020. The very next day, he got an email back from the company saying that he would not have to pay $170,000. I think the email actually said, "Great news. We're reaching out to confirm that you've met your margin call and we've lifted your trade restrictions. If you have any questions about your margin call, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help." Now, as someone that works in support, this story kind of hit me because I don't fully know what the full amount of time was between him getting that email saying that he had to pay $170,000 and him taking his own life was. But clearly, too much time went by. Robinhood doesn't have a customer support line that you can call into, but he emailed several times looking to get clarification as to why he owed $170,000. And the sad part about this is that negative $730,000 balance wasn't accurate. The reason it said that was because some trades that he had made hadn't gone through, so the system hadn't updated. So he really actually didn't owe that amount of money. It's just that nobody in support got back to him. And like I was saying, as someone who works in support, that is a very long time. The fact that he felt like there was no way out from this and that taking his own life was the only alternative, it's kind of heartbreaking. And I think his parents have a legitimate shot at winning their suit should it go to court. We've been talking in this class about a lot about like ethics, the ACM personal code of ethics, and what are the responsibilities of the programmer, the tech company, the computing professionals. So we have to avoid harm, be honest and trustworthy, be fair, not take action to discriminate, respect privacy, honor confidentiality. I think for me, this really falls into that avoid harm principle, 1.2 on the ACM Code of Ethics and Professional Contact. That message, in my mind, should not be automated. When you're telling someone that they owe you a large amount of money like that, especially a young, inexperienced 20-year-old who is still kind of learning about this whole trade industry, how to trade properly, that's not something that should be automated. That's something that I think that needs to be a phone call, not an email, not even definitely not an automated email, but not an email from like a support person. I think that needs to be a phone call, like a very serious, we need to sit down and actually have a conversation about this. I think if someone in Robinhood support had actually sat him down and talked to him, this could have been avoidable. So it's disappointing to see this story. I'll definitely have to keep an eye out for it and kind of see where things end up in terms of the lawsuit. But yeah, since his death, Robinhood has revised, I guess, quote unquote, revised its experience requirements for customers looking to make riskier type options. But ironically, CBS News confirmed that it's still kind of easy to get approval for basic options trading on the app. And it's kind of, I believe what they described, it's as easy as the app asking how much investing experience do you have. If you choose none, Robinhood rejects you from the trading option, but then the app asks you if you want to update your experience level. If you say not much, you get approved for options trading, which to me doesn't make any sense. That it's as simple as I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me that that's not an improvement to making options trades. Uh, that's kind of like, how old are you? Are you over the 18 years of your age into your birthday when you try to go into like some website and you just like make up a random birth date that would make you 18 and you can get let in. So it's definitely going to be a very interesting story to see that play out, or it'll be an interesting next couple of months and years, however long this lawsuit plays out, to see what exactly is the result of this. It definitely was a very, very heartbreaking story to read, and one that I think could have been fully avoidable if Robinhood just had better support, kept its users more, kept the well-being of its users more in its mind, making sure that users were fully aware of what is going on with their trade options, with their stocks, with their accounts and balances at all times. And as I said earlier, not sending out these automated messages saying that they owe a massive amount of money, especially in Alex's case when he actually didn't owe any money. It just could have been avoidable. So we'll definitely be keeping my eyes out to see kind of how this story unfolds. So that's the end of my discussion and my presentation for this particular assignment. Thanks for watching. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments on the Canvas discussion board or on YouTube. This is definitely an interesting topic. Reading about Robinhood has been a pretty eye-opening experience and made me really think about whether or not I want to get in the stock game myself, and whether or not I should go through a professional advisor, if I should do it on my own. It's been really eye-opening. So let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.